let's move on to item 9C by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Sorry, you want to draw his attention?
Mr. Speaker, equity, as you just said, does not favor the indolent. We must not come too late in the day. Since you've mentioned 9C, fortunately, 9C. No, it's not been late. We did 9B. You don't bring confusion. It's 9C. Mr. Speaker just mentioned 9C. 9C, Mr. Speaker, it is being done, fortunately, by the minister himself. So, if it pleases the chair, I shall invoke Order 97.3 of the rules of this House and pray that the minister act in terms of Order 97.3. Mr. Speaker, the reason for this is because this lease agreement is a very important matter of national interest. The Speaker may recall that in the 8th Parliament, this matter came up, and our friends who are in government today had serious issues for all of us to deal with. So, Speaker, if today a thing like this has come back and they've gone to sign a new agreement and all, Mr. Speaker, my understanding is that the agreement has seen some amendments. Whatever it is, I would beg of the minister to give a short explanatory statement on this. Mr. Speaker, the mere fact that the presentation of papers is procedural does not mean, Mr. Speaker, that members of this House cannot interrogate the matter before being referred. That is why, Mr. Speaker, if you look at Order 97.5, it provides that the Speaker may refer the paper to the relevant committee where appropriate. May refer. It does not. What that tells us is that where in the wisdom of Mr. Speaker, the paper will require further executive or ministerial action, Mr. Speaker may direct, if not persuaded, to say that, look, Minister, take this back and do the needful. It is not automatic, else the provision would have read shall. The provision there is not shall. It doesn't provide a mandatory obligation on the Speaker. Mr. Speaker has a discretion, and that discretion is to suggest that where it is imprudent for such a paper to be referred, Mr. Speaker will not. So, Mr. Speaker, if you read this 97, 5, 3, and 1 together, it gives you a clear understanding what the intent of the drafters of this regulation wanted us to do. The paper must have sufficient copies distributed. Do we have sufficient copies distributed? If so, when a member sees the need to request that the minister makes a short explanatory statement which would cover the key areas of the subject matter, that's the rule says that it's mandatory, you must. Then upon that, Mr. Speaker may then decide, no, what you have done is not persuasive enough, please take it back and come back. So there's no automaticity rule. There's nothing like that that is automatic once you present a paper, it will be referred. That is not there. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a new matter. We've never dealt with a thing like this in this house. And I would pray that the minister obliges my prayer so that we can make progress. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Minority Leader is clearly out of order. Out of order because the order is very clear. A short explanatory statement, short, in fact, it could be as short as one sentence. It says short. So the minister can get up and say that as a result of new developments, it has become necessary to bring it back for Parliament to reconsider it. That is a short explanatory memorandum. But, Mr. Speaker, it says a short explanatory statement shall be made by the person presenting a paper where requested by the House or a member upon the presentation. Mr. Speaker, what I thought he would be asking you to interpret, at what stage will we say that the presentation has been made? At which point a member can then get up and request for an explanatory memorandum, a short explanatory statement. So I don't recall that the presentation has been done yet. It hasn't been done. And you're already on your feet asking the minister to make a short statement. And you are not just asking the minister to make a short statement. You have proceeded to engage in a jurisprudence of interpreting the rules to the speaker, explaining what the rule means, and that's not important. Wait, when the presentation is made, then your rights kick in. You ask for a short statement, and the statement could be as short as a sentence, and then we move on.
Honorable members, the difficulty we have here is that some of us are suffering from confirmation bias. Confirmation bias. You have some ideas in your head. Whatever is said is of no essence. You don't hear it. You have to say something to confirm what you have in your head. We've gone through this process. And in fact, when the minority chief whip spoke, and I explained it, he was nodding his head. And the process is that when I call the paper, it has to be laid. When it's laid, then a member can get up and ask the person laying to make a short explanatory statement. Before I call on the committee to go and consider and report back to the House. We've gone through this step by step. We have gone to the next item. It's not yet been laid. And then the person who is to lay it is already being called upon to give a short explanatory statement. That is a case of confirmation bias. So whatever you say, you don't listen. Please, let's be doing this in this House. We devoted time for a study of these standing orders. We had a workshop. And now you come and we sit and we're now going through it, guidance, this and that. And Ghanaians are watching and willing to see business of the House. Then we are still learning our rules, our procedures. That is not good enough. Please, let's proceed. Minister, lay the paper.
mining lease agreement between the Government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and Barari DV Ghana Limited, for the mining of lithium and other minerals at Mankasim, 42.663 Kilometer 2 in the Infantiman district in the Central Region.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in terms of Order 97.3 and pray that the Minister provides an explanatory statement in respect of the paper he just presented.
Yes, Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, as you know, the lease was presented indeed in the 8th Parliament for ratification pursuant to Article 268(1) of the 1992 Constitution and Section 5(4) of Act 703. But it was not ratified before the House adjourned. Since then, the basis in which the agreement, especially the price of lithium, at the time of the negotiation was about $3,000. Price of lithium had fallen, the current price to about $630, making the project really at risk in going forward. The company appealed that if they were to go forward, certain key provisions must be looked at. Indeed, it was very clear and public knowledge that lithium prices had fallen. We took advantage of, at the time, the high lithium prices of $3,000 to, for example, move beyond the normal royalty of 5% and move it to 10% and other provisions. Based on their request, 3 key areas has been looked at: the royalty rate adjustment, VAT deferral on capital inputs, and sub-on transshipment facility feasibility. These 3 areas were new areas that has been factored, and that called for us to look at the new lease. The new lease has been negotiated, sent to Cabinet for approval, and we are here in Parliament to get ratification in accordance with Article 268 of the 1992 Constitution. I thank you.
Honourable members, I accordingly refer the mining lease agreement, which is referred to as new, to the Committee on Lands and Forestry for consideration and report to the House. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, you seem to have referred the agreement to the committee. And so I don't know, Mr. Speaker, respectfully, I don't know whether the point I'm about to make will find favor with you. Now, Mr. Speaker, when you read Order 97, 1 to 6, the totality of it, the combined effect of 97, 1 to 6, is to the effect that the Speaker has a discretion either to admit the lane and do the referral or not. The Speaker, with the greatest of respect, I was in this House in the 8th Parliament, and I was called upon to give a similar explanatory statement for the laying of the agreement for the exploitation of our lithium resources between these same 2 parties, the Government of Ghana and Barari DV Ghana Limited. The Speaker, yourself, as the Speaker of the 8th Parliament, took particular interest in that agreement. Mr. Speaker, you even had an occasion to invite me to your chamber and nudge me that we're required to carry the whole country with us because of the importance of this agreement, the importance of the mineral, lithium. Mr. Speaker, I need not point out the controversy it generated in our country. Mr. Speaker, so the point I was going to, the invitation I was going to make of you is that the application, the effort we made in the 8th Parliament to lay an agreement for the exploitation of the lithium resources between the same two parties, the government of Ghana and Barari BV, which was rejected by this House. We could not lay it, and it was not referred to a committee. Mr. Speaker, the explanatory statement made by the current Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Speaker, the terms of it, the terms of the explanatory statement is not different from the terms of the explanatory statement I made in this House as Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Mr. Speaker, and therefore, I was going to pray and apply to you that the combined effect of Order 97, 1 to 6, the combined effect of Order 97, 1 to 6, Mr. Speaker, respectfully, I was going to pray that this laying be overruled and this laying be rejected because, Mr. Speaker, I have the various components the minister has submitted to this House as being the fundamental terms of the agreement between the same two parties, Mr. Speaker, fundamentally not different. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, what applied to that agreement in the 8th Parliament, which fortunately was the same speaker in the chair, and which culminated in the rejection of the attempt to lay that agreement. Mr. Speaker, same should apply. Mr. Speaker, I conclude by just asking a simple question, and I want to believe that we will get into this matter in a much more detail. Mr. Speaker, the fundamental question which the average Ghanaian will ask, Mr. Speaker, is that what has changed? What has changed? What has changed? What has changed? What has changed between the agreement between the government of Ghana and Barari DV and the terms of the agreement between the government of Ghana and Barari DV in 2025? Mr. Speaker, I conclude. Mr. Speaker, I conclude by submitting. Mr. Speaker, I conclude by submitting that the position you took in the 8th Parliament was for the good of Ghana. Lithium is a rare resource. Lithium is the mineral of the future, as the experts say. Lithium, indeed, Mr. Speaker, is the foundation of the current effort of green transition. Lithium, Mr. Speaker, is the bedrock that the world is attempting to use to fight climate change. And so when the Speaker insisted that Ghana should get the full benefit of the exploitation of our mineral resources, one could not disagree with you. But the question today is that 2025, Mr. Speaker, what has changed? What has changed? What has changed? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, please, let's tolerate each other. Let's listen to each other in silence. Majority Leader.
First and foremost, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Abu Jinapo got his facts wrong. You were the minister responsible for the sector at that time. You brought the agreement, laid it. It was referred to the committee. And my recollection is that it never came back to the floor of the House. So you cannot say that this House rejected it. This House did not reject the agreement. This House did not. The records of this House will bear me out. That you brought it here, yes. There was a lot of public interest in the matter. It was referred to committee, but it never got back to the plenary for us to consider. So it is not the case that the agreement was rejected by Parliament. If you recall, that Parliament, the last few months of that Parliament was plagued with litigation, injunction after injunction. The great Afenyo-Markins, the Osahene, and the question of whether he was minority leader or majority leader, and whether his side was a majority or minority, rendered this Parliament ineffective because we had injunctions, were in court, and so we never dealt with so many matters that were pending. It wasn't because the House considered it and rejected it. So the life of the Parliament ended without the matter being considered. And normally, matters that come before us and the life of the Parliament ends without the matters being concluded, usually we bring them back and start afresh. I believe it is in the spirit of this practice that you have asked that we should start afresh the LGBTQ bill. The same thing. That is why this is coming back. And secondly, what has changed? Our sitting places have changed. Our sitting places have changed. And more importantly, Ghanaians trust him with the management of the natural resources of this country. They trust him. That's why they removed the NPP and they brought the NDC, and the NDC has proposed him as a minister to handle it, and he has brought it back to this House. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't think that we should split hairs because it has been referred to a committee. You are members of the committee deliberations, and I'm encouraging committee deliberations to be transparent. And at committee, you can raise all the issues. Reports will be brought back to plenary. We will debate the key components that you are concerned about. You will have an opportunity to debate those key components. And then we'll take the vote. We'll take the vote. And definitely, when we take the vote, the majority will speak. The majority will speak. So I don't think there's any issue, and I don't really think that, you are complying with any of our orders, because there's nothing in our orders that permit you to do what you have just done. Mr. Speaker, I think we should proceed.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. My respected colleague opposite me made references to me on certain matters. I feel obliged to respond, and I thank you for giving me the space to respond. Mr. Speaker, I think, first of all, he also got his facts wrong. If he argues that that agreement never came back to this House, he's wrong. At least I was a majority leader, so I'm able to put things in the right context. Mr. Speaker, with respect, when the Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Abu Jinapo, as he then was, appeared before the committee, our friends in the NDC to register their opposition to the agreement in its entirety. So it's the reason he asked what has changed. Now, Mr. Speaker, the leader of government business should have called me that respect I always give him. I'm always quiet whenever he's speaking. Because I know that I have the content in me, so I don't need to rush. Mr. Speaker, if you prepare to come into this chamber, you fear no evil. Even if I'm given 1 minute, I will speak on the matter that I prepared for. So he should allow me, so that the two of us can show a good example to our followers. Mr. Speaker, I was a leader of government business, and the attempt to lay the paper, I'm happy the deputy minority leader, Ama Kofi Boa, as he then was, is right here in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, he and his colleagues denied us the opportunity to lay this paper, that they won't allow. In fact, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Kwame Agboja, to quote him right here, Mr. Speaker, I was here begging him. He said, quote, "There will be chaos in this chamber." I have the hands up. Those were his words, that there will be chaos if we attempt to lay it. Today, you have brought this agreement in your own words. In your own words. In your own words. You said the prices have gone down. Mr. Speaker, this agreement in its current state is worse than before. Royalties have lowered. And if the majority leader's only response is that the change is because you are now in majority. So, Mr. Speaker, where is the principle? If yesterday you told the people of Ghana that a particular agreement in its form and shape was not good for the good of the country, today you say the mere fact that you are in majority, you have numbers, you will bring the same agreement in its worst situation, and you pass it. Then because you have super majority, you will pass it. Mr. Speaker, all of a sudden our friends opposite have forgotten their own principle requiring pre-laying. Mr. Speaker, in the 8th Parliament, our friends introduced a new system of practice called pre-laying, that if there is no pre-laying, we cannot. And they emphasize that important documents must be pre-laid, and pre-laying to them meant that leadership must have the matter deliberated extensively for a consensus to be built before. And Mr. Speaker may recall that on the matters of tax waiver, there's argued strongly that we should do pre-laying, discuss it before we even lay it. Mr. Speaker, that is what they did. But you know, I have told you, and I'll repeat, that thing called posterity. Today, the rules are being interpreted. Honorable Ayariga is introducing new jurisprudence. I will take them. I will not be paying at all. I will not be emotional on it. Whenever I'm arrested, I'll say, yes, sir. But you will be haunted by your own deeds. You told the people of Ghana that the lithium agreement was bad. Today, as at that time, so the same thing. You have not changed anything, no? The same agreement. You have not changed a word. You have brought the same agreement. Mr. Speaker, the agreement that you say it was bad, when it was under Akufo-Addo government, you said the agreement was bad. Today, even when the royalties have been lowered, and the royalties have been lowered, you are bringing it. When prices have gone down, you are now bringing it, claiming that you have super majority. You use your numbers to pass it. Mr. Speaker, we want to be guided by principle. Mr. Speaker, we want to be guided by principle and remind our colleagues that it is only fair to be consistent, to remain firm on a matter that you believe strongly that it is good or wrong. Mr. Speaker, today, if the majority, because they are in power, they have found it convenient to reintroduce a very agreement they rejected.
Minority leader, please.
I'm sorry.
Please.
I'm sorry. Mr. Speaker, let us up our game.
Please. Minority leader.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, with respect, Mr. Speaker, please, I will not disrespect you.
Yes,
if you want me to resume my seat,
you were in full flight.
If you want me to resume my seat, I will.
Please
I will
do.
always yield to you.
Please do.
Very well, Mr. Speaker, I will yield to you. And listen to you.
Honorable members, sometimes you are in a haste. Sometimes you are in a haste to debate matters. In fact, what happened in the last parliament, I'm fully aware of what took place. And I can assure you, I'm as equally committed to this whole process and the agreement as I was in last parliament, because it deals with the minerals of this country, particularly a very important mineral which has a future, lithium. I had civil society leaders, experts in the subject matter, giving me copious brief on this matter, the lease agreement. That was why I expressed my views about Parliament taking a critical look at that lease agreement. So the agreement was not rejected. It was not rejected. But we're trying to put a process in place for Parliament to critically examine it and make sure that the right thing is done. That was what happened. But please, our rules are very clear. And you read 97(1), which says, whenever sufficient copies of a paper have been received in the office of the clerk for distribution to members, notice of the presentation of that paper may be placed on the order paper. And when the Speaker announces presentation of papers, the person laying the paper shall rise and bow to the chair, and the clerk shall read the title of the paper, and the paper shall be considered to have been laid on the table. That is the process. But you know, before we get to this stage, that paper would have been admitted by the Speaker. That paper would have gone through the clerk and to the business committee. The business committee would have scheduled it in the business statement. Then it will find space in the order paper. That is the process we go through before the laying. And so at the laying, when the Speaker really calls for the paper to be laid, it's automatic. The member is called upon to do what? To bow. The clerk is called upon to do what? To read. And then what happens? The paper shall be considered to have been laid on the table. And laying on the table means the table in front here. The clerks at the table. This is the table. So what happens is that after the bowing, the copy that is there, the title is read by the officers at the table, and it is placed there. That is the process. Now, I refer it to the relevant committee. I cannot, after it's laid, exercise a discretion to say no. I don't have that discretion. That is not the rule. It's after the report is submitted by the committee will go to consider it. The committee may come to say that, no, don't approve the motion, don't adopt it, don't approve whatever resolution, and the House will take the decision. The Speaker doesn't come in here, please. And so I don't recall that lease agreement being rejected by the House. I know that there was insistence that there should be pre-laying, consideration, and all those things. But it was actually not presented and rejected by the House. That was not done. Yes. So now it's being brought. We are referring to the relevant committee. Every member is allowed to visit and attend the committee meetings, make contribution, come to the floor here. When the report is presented, you can disagree with the committee or agree. At the end of the day, we take the decision. That is it. But I'm very passionate about the agreements we signed concerning minerals in this country. And the brief that I have, I'll be very critical on whatever lease agreement comes here. My critique will be to guide the House, nothing but that, because I don't take the decision. I will critique it to guide the House, and that is all. So please, you don't have anything to fear. I still have all the material that was given to me by people who have been in the industry for donkey years. So don't worry, we'll present all and then the decision will be taken. And people in government are aware when they take the wrong decision, the effect on the government is usually very telling when the people disagree with it. So I'm sure that after changing positions, where the right, the left of the speaker many times now, you all understand the situation. And let's always agree that is the national interest that prevails, not a party interest. Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the ruling, except to correct some misrepresentation made by the Minority Leader. He said that this agreement is one in which the royalties have been reduced, and he's put that out, and that is not true. Mr. Speaker, the royalties have not been reduced. The royalties have been pegged to the price of lithium. So when lithium prices go up, royalties will also go up. When lithium prices come down, royalties will also come down.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Yes.
Please, we will get there. The report will come to the House and we will debate it. Please, Honorable Member, hold your cool. Let them bring the report. We will debate it. That is why I'm here to protect you. So don't worry. I will protect you as a minority. I will never allow them to bully you. Please, let's hold on.